All right, what's going on, y'all? Today we are learning what the equation of a circle is. So here's the formula for a circle. And as you can see, there's x and y. These are just points that you're going to plug in. You know how normally we have, for example, y equals mx plus b. So whenever you put an x in, it spits a y out. It's the same thing for here. If you put in an x and a y, it has to make this equation true. So what's h and k? Well, great question. The center of the circle is going to be h comma k. And then the radius of the circle is equal to r. All right, so here is an example. Identify the equation of the circle. So I know that I don't have the best drawing skills, especially circles. Circles are kind of hard to draw, but just bear with me. Your worksheets will have better circles. So anyways, first thing we want to do is identify the center. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So here's step one. We're going to identify the center. So in this case, the center is 0, 0. It's the origin. So we're just going to write that down. And then you need to identify the radius. All right. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take the center and you're going to count how long it's going to take you, how far the circle is away from it. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3 units. So our radius is 3. And now we are going to go ahead and plug in all of this into our formula. So you should have that formula from the last slide written down. And it's something like this. We have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. All right, so remember h and k are the x and y coordinates of our center. So we have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals radius squared. So r is 3, so we're going to have 3 squared. So x minus 0, that's just x. So this is x squared. Y minus 0, that's y, so y squared. And then 3 squared is 9. So this is the equation of our circle. All right, so let's go ahead and do a bit more complicated of an example. Let's identify the equation of this circle. So it's the same 3 steps. So you're going to first identify the center. Then 2, identify the radius. Okay. And then 3, you got to plug everything in. All right, so the center is at 1, 2, 3 for our x, and then up 2 for our y. So here's our center. It's at 3, 2. All right, and now we have to find our radius. So radius. So we're going to start at our center. And we're going to see how many units I have to travel to get to our circle. So here is 1 and then 2. So our radius is 2. Now we got to plug it into our formula. So we have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Plug all this stuff in. So h is 3. So x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to r squared. R is 2, so that's going to be 2 squared, which is 4. And this is your answer. All right, and let's go ahead and move on to the last type of question. So you're going to have two types of questions, basically. It's going to be identify the equation of a circle, or you're going to have to write the equation of a circle with the center, and then it's going to pass through a point. So we already know what our center is. So we already know what h and k is. Our h is our first, our x coordinate of the center, and our k is the it's the y coordinate of our center. But now we have to find r. So if it has a center of something and then it passes through a point, what we can do is we can find the distance between those two things, and that'll be our radius. So here's the distance formula. So we have d, our distance, is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1. So the difference between our x's, and then squared, plus the difference between our y's. So y2 minus y1 squared. All right, so we just got to find our distance, and then we can plug it all in. So this will be our radius. So let's see, x2 is 5. So we have 5 minus x1, which is 2, squared, plus y2, which is negative 1. And then this will be minus 3 squared, because y1 is 3. We just got to evaluate this. So we have the square root. 5 minus 2 squared, that is 3 squared, plus negative 4 squared. So plus negative 4 squared. Let's keep going. This will be 9 plus 16. This is equal to the square root of 25. So that is equal to 5. So our radius is going to be 5. So now we have all the ingredients we need to write this equation. So we start with x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So h is going to be 2. So x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. Remember, this is the x coordinate of the center, h is, and k is the y coordinate of the center. And then r, our radius, is going to be 5. That squared is 25. So here is your answer. And that's it.